All right, back in business. Now we're in chapter 4. This is where I had the most fun while making it because it's not that it doesn't have that kind of complicated puzzles, but it has some kind of interesting plush toys, physics acts there. It's really difficult to optimize the whole thing for the consoles, especially. But like this is where I had the most fun while even testing the game. Let me tell you something about the physics actor. Like, I'm going to show it right here away. And now I'm going to show you back from the levels as well from the Unreal Engine. But here's the thing that you can see from the footage. Like, if you put like one in a room, it's like a toy. But like if you put like 50 in a room, like it's a mess. But if you put like maybe like 400, maybe like this chapter has like 500 physics actors, like, and that's a horror game, I believe. And if they are plush toys, that's really a horror game. There is not a single monster in it, if you ask me, but that's what the whole thing becomes scary, because it's like you use the ordinary toys, which is a whole different topic that we can discuss later on. Like, why do we get scared from like easy toys? Like, a vintage toy looks scary for some reason. Maybe there's some kind of a very deep psychological reasons behind this, but yes, this level has some kind of vintage toys and some kind of plush toys, and it's what it makes it scary. Like, people can argue like scripted events can be more scary, but this level has some kind of scripted jump scares as well. But at the same time, it has this kind of crazy plush toys, which you can see. It's like it was kind of very difficult to optimize it, but the scripts that I'm going to show you behind them is just like so simple. And but fighting for the console optimization was kind of a nightmare. And I think we're going to see this game on Nintendo shortly. Even it works very well with the Nintendo. Like, walking through the physics actor counters honestly was the difficult part for this level. What's the performance codes, what you have to do with the consoles in mind. And honestly, how much I like Unreal Engine, but there is something I don't like about it, is the physics engine behind it, like physics actor. Underneath it, they say that they improved a lot with the Chaos plugin. Yes, it is true to some extent, but at the same time, I'm not that so sure. Like, it's kind of very tricky to make the physics actors always behave the way you want them to behave, especially when you put like 500, maybe. Yeah, seriously, maybe you can count it like when I later on when I showed you from the levels. And this, there is this kind of funny vintage toy puzzle in this level, the singing robot type puzzle. It's just like an ordinary puzzle, but after you solve that robot toy puzzle, you have a grabbing actor, which is like a physics actor, which you start pulling and pushing objects away, which is the whole point of this level, where you solve this other, main part of the puzzle. And some of you will really hate this chapter, like it's like, because it's very packed, and if you have some kind of a claustrophobia, this level is not for you. My daughter really didn't want to play it to the end. She got scared. I mean, I don't know. She's so curious about game development, and she always be the tester on my games. Like, but she really told me that this is really a disturbing level, and said, okay, don't tell mama, but be the tester on my games. I don't know. I can't control her. Like, she's like so crazy about being testers and being a game developer, which makes sense being my daughter. Anyway, but yes, there is this whole level of vintage toys being the scary part of this whole level, and then I don't know, like. I'm gonna be straight with you. I didn't know that this was gonna work until you put because I can't watch behind the gamer. Like, this is the whole biggest dilemma of being a solo game developer. You don't have budgets for like expensive mocap studio, but at the same time you don't have expensive budgets for like do a very, very, very proper testing. Like, I wish I had like in a room of like 10 dedicated testers to watch from behind their back while they're playing the game. Which we don't have that kind of luxury. You just have to guess the gamers, like you just have to guess their reactions. But it looks like from the accounts of it looks like it turned out very well, because it's like this chapter is very straightforward. It doesn't have this ordinary in the classical sense of puzzles like we've seen it in the chapter 3. But at the same time, it's really fun to even test this game. I'll also show you some of the scripts behind them. Okay, this is chapter 4, and yes, you see all these plush monsters smiling at you. It's even creepy when you're making them, especially at 2 a.m. at night. You just you just deal with some kind of a puzzle over here. You know, you try to solve this kind of puzzle, which I will show. It's the name of the puzzle makes sense. It's called incomplete robot, which because that's what it is. And then you just forget that all of these guys are staring back at you like in the middle of the night. Yes, that's what they are. And just like it's just the one simple script. And I think, yeah, let me count them. Like, oh my god, like 40, 100. This game has like 419 physics actor, all behaving exactly the same, but the house is packed, like as you can see. The house is full of them, you know, and sometimes it becomes very difficult to navigate them, but you just bump into them and they have the exact same nice, you know, physics settings. So you just have to just walk your way through them and then try to solve this robot type puzzle first. And let me show you. It's a very simple puzzle, which is based on the template of this horror mechanics, which I can explain later on. It's a fantastic template that I use it most of the time. It's one of the most complete templates on the Unreal Engine marketplace. And yeah, this is our robot toy. Let me just open the script. You just have to find, you know, two simple heart and an antenna, and then when you use them over here, it starts singing because, you know, it becomes a happy robot toy. And then you start using it as a physics actor, which also you can use. And then as a physics actor, you start pulling those letters towards you, because we have like C, F, G, K, and you have to collect all this 4 letter balloons and then come back here to solve the wall balloons puzzle, which is like you have to like use 4 of them. And then when you use 4 of these letter balloons, you know, a surprise happens. I mean, yeah, now that the game is out there, we can really spoil it, and then you will get this kind of new toy. And it's going to be a different kind of physics actor, physics grabbing and pushing away actor, which you will use in chapter 5 as well. And there are only 2 scripted actions here, which is kind of okay. I kind of feel bad using like, you know, child toys, like vintage toys, but it has some kind of psychological effect, which I would want to discuss. I don't know if you would be interested in hearing it. I do, exactly, but I don't see many other content video creators or like other game developers are talking about it. There is so much psychology going on behind this whole idea of, you know, horror games, nostalgia fueling the horror games, and the point of using circus clowns. Yes, it's all about related with our childhood memories. And to be honest with you, I understood where this whole fear of clowns are coming from, but I never thought that I would be using plush toys, you know, as some sort of a scare factor. But yeah, we did, and it just, you know, it kind of worked out. Yeah, here we are. And now this simple script, you just bump into them. It's so simple. Like we just have one simple physics constraint, and we have like the similar of it, like in different versions. Like I got kind of lazy to use the script to change this mesh. I just made a duplicate copy of it, which they say you shouldn't be using it because it's not the correct way to make that optimization. But in this kind of level, as you can see, it's all empty. The whole house is empty, and it's just kind of very easy to optimize it in terms of lighting and static meshes and everything else. It was just like I didn't know that this many actors, physics actors, will be colliding to each other. It might have created a problem, but as you can see over here, it's not that kind of difficult, because it has a very simple collision box. You know, when you see the collision, it's just like so easy, and there is nothing to be. It's just a physics actor collision, and we have like one simple physics constraint, and that's it. And when you touch them, we have this kind of, you know, this is like a development only instance for us, and we just go for a random sound cue, which is kind of, I had fun like collecting them. All of them are like licensed from some kind of various online resources, and we just make a, you know, modulator and a random I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if you can hear it. Some kind of random noise. Every time we bump them, these random noises are being played, and that is what makes them scary. Like sometimes in the simplest sense, things can get complicated. Like I spent like literally months on chapter 3, and making this chapter was much relatively in a shorter time. It was because it's only have like only 2 puzzles, and then we only have this like 1 physics actor, and that's it. Like boom. And when you solve this puzzle over there, like it's also related to the story. Like, happy birthday, Brian. Are you ready for your clown makeup? And are you ready for your new game? What kind of a horrible monster of a father he had. Like, even in this kind of environments, you can think of the story. It's kind of very difficult to think about all of this when you're making this game as a solo developer, because sometimes the weight, the heaviness of the story sits on your shoulders. It's like at some points I really felt like sorry for Brian. Like, I really felt related to the character, what kind of a horrible childhood he had, I thought. But at the same time, you know, this is like, as I always say, this is the kitchen. There is like, you know, there is nothing scary about it. All these rectangular boxes we have, like, that's it. Like, that's the whole level. But I think this is one of the most disturbing, the scariest level I think I've ever met. And which also at the end of the level, there is this simple, let me show you, very, very simple level blueprint. When we solve that puzzle, it just, you know, opens up a new box, a new birthday surprise arrives in your hands, and that's it. This is the toy, and this is going to be our main toy in chapter 5. See you on chapter 5.